Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. We warmly welcome you all to Pakistan-Turkey Business Conference. We are deeply honored to be joined by our distinguished dignitaries, the Honorable Prime Minister of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, His Excellency Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif, the Honorable Vice President of the Republic of Turkey, His Excellency Cevdet Yilmaz, our Honorable Ministers and representatives of the business communities of Pakistan and Turkey. I now invite Ambassador of Pakistan to Turkey, His Excellency Dr. Yusuf Junaid, for the opening remarks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. His Excellency, Honorable Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif. It is my great honor and privilege to welcome you all to this Pakistan-Turkey Business Forum in this beautiful city of Istanbul. Guided by the vision of our leaders, that is, His Excellency President Erdogan and Prime Minister Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif, this forum brings together key public institutions and leading business representatives to deepen our economic partnership and explore new avenues for trade, investment, and industrial collaboration. We are very thankful to Honorable Vice President and Turkish Minister for gracing this occasion, as your distinguished presence today reflects the shared commitment of Pakistan and Turkey to transform our long-standing and exceptional political relations and brotherhood into a dynamic and mutually beneficial economic partnership. I once again thank all of you and wish that this conference culminates in an era of economic enhancement which is going to have a greater impact on the economies of both countries. Thank you.
We will present a brief video highlighting Pakistan's investment opportunities.
Two nations, one heart, unbreakable brotherhood. For generations, Pakistan and Turkey have stood together through every challenge and every opportunity. Under the visionary leadership, the enduring friendship between Pakistan and Turkey is reaching new heights, driving economic transformation and shared progress for both nations. Pakistan is strategically positioned as the gateway to Central Asia, China, the Middle East, and beyond. With 3 thriving seaports, including Karachi Port, Port Qasim, and Gwadar Port. Supported by the Special Investment Facilitation Council, investors benefit from streamlined procedures. Pakistan's energy sector is entering a new phase of modernization and reform. Significant opportunities exist across power distribution, smart metering, grid modernization, transmission infrastructure, renewable energy integration, and digital energy management. Both countries have agreed to maintain close engagement focused on renewable energy, hydrocarbons, LPG, and electric vehicle infrastructure. Cooperation is also expanding in electricity distribution, transmission modernization, hydropower development, and mining. Turkish firms are actively pursuing opportunities. In a landmark development, Turkish Petroleum Corporation, in partnership with Pakistani companies, has secured licenses for offshore and onshore oil and gas exploration. Beneath Pakistan's rugged mountains lies untapped potential, vast reserves of copper and iron. With 75,000 engineering graduates each year, 2.37 million freelancers, over 20,000 software firms, and a nationwide 5G network launched in 2026. IT exports reached $4.18 billion in the current fiscal year, marking a remarkable 21% growth. Pakistan is open for business and ready for investment.
Ladies and gentlemen, now I request Advisor to the Prime Minister on Privatization, Mr. Muhammad Ali, for a presentation on special economic zones and privatization of electricity distribution companies.
I would like to share with you 3 aspects of investments into Pakistan. Pakistan is re-emerging. MashaAllah, in the last few years, the country has achieved stabilization, and now we are ready to re-emerge. The fundamentals are strong, and the reforms are happening, which I'll share with you. We have achieved current account surplus after seeing deficits over the last many years, which was constantly reducing. The exchange rate has been stable for the last 18 months, around 280 to 83 rupees to a dollar. Inflation has been tamed. We are seeing around 6 to 7% inflation, single digit. GDP, it's a very important figure which I wanted to share with you. Today we are at around $1,800 per capita income. The credit rating has improved substantially. Forex reserves are among the highest in the last 3 years. Our remittances, and that's a very important number, Pakistan exports around 1 million people every year abroad, and which increases around $3.5 to $4 billion to our remittances. Interest rate has been around 11.5 to 12%. The decision is, going forward, the economy and the growth will be led by the private sector. We are increasing our tax net. We are digitizing the economy. We are reforming the energy sector. We have moved from the policy of import substitution, which was followed in the past, to a policy of export promotion. And for that, we are offering special economic zones, which I'll talk about in a bit. And we are strengthening the regulators. Going forward, we have a very aggressive privatization program. We have 9 distribution companies to privatize. Turkey went through a similar process in 2013. We are starting with 3 best distribution companies in Faisalabad, Gujranwala, and Islamabad. We also are offering 3 major airports in the country, Islamabad, Lahore, and Karachi. For Islamabad, we have appointed Asian Development Bank as the advisor. For Lahore and Karachi, in the next week, we will be finalizing the advisory consortium. These 3 airports are the 3 major airports in the country. We are also offering the largest life insurance company in the country, one of the premier reinsurance company, and 2 specialized banks. On the public-private partnership, we have a number of projects in the PPP program, but I'll briefly touch upon 2 motorway projects. These 2 motorway projects are in the southern region. One is Sakkar to Hyderabad. This has 2 sections, 57 kilometer and 64 kilometer. Investment is almost $500 million. They are on build, own, operate, 25-year concession, and VGF is available. The other one is 168 kilometer between Karachi and Hyderabad. Again, that's also build, own, operate, and transfer model, and investment is around $1 billion in that. Sovereign guarantee and VGF funding is available. We also have projects in health, in hospitality. In the Capital Territory, Capital Development Authority, that CDA, we have a 500-bed state-of-the-art facility which we are working on, almost a $100 million project. We have 2 heritage properties in which we are making around 70 to 100 key hotels, and we are building 5 hotels in Islamabad. And all of these are being offered under the PPP model. Lastly, the special economic zone, a very important part of our industrial journey. There are 2 zones in South and 2 in Punjab that we are working on. There is tax holiday for 9 years for industries which are set up. Duty is exempted on plant and machinery. Infrastructure is ready, either built by the government or by the private sector. There are foreigners enclave for international investors. There are 2 models for the SEZs. One in which the government will build the infrastructure and industries can come and set up their shop. So this is a special offering that we wanted to share with the Turkey's investors. Thank you very much.
Now I invite the Honorable Minister for Petroleum, His Excellency Ali Parvez Malik, to share a presentation on Pakistan's mining sectors.
Pakistan has a huge geological hydrocarbon potential waiting to be tapped. Recoverable gas reserves by international studies have been quantified at around 23 TCF, and that is just the tip of the iceberg. Presently, the production is just 3 BCF, and the demand is hovering around 4 BCF, which forces Pakistan to import about $3-4 billion of LNG every year to meet its energy requirements. Similarly, the oil reserves that have been quantified are at around 240 million barrels, and the daily production is just 65,000 barrels per day. As Pakistan endeavors under the leadership of Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and transitions towards a higher growth trajectory, we hope that this energy intensity will continue to grow, and this is the kind of opportunity that the hydrocarbon and the energy sector of Pakistan offers to any investor willing to come into Pakistan. We have more than 178 active exploration licenses going in the country. We have drilled our first vertical well in Hyderabad to tap into this potential, and that is where we seek the technical support from Turkey in terms of providing the field supply services. In the midstream sector, the Prime Minister has directed that a refinery upgrade policy be rolled out as soon as possible. The first refinery that is willing to move in this upgradation journey is the Pakistan Refinery Limited, which is owned by the largest downstream company, Pakistan State Oil. Pakistan is also trying to roll out a world-class bonded storage facility for oil producers to diversify their supplies and park those molecules in a secure location in Pakistan. Pakistan currently is developing one of the largest copper gold mines that we also displayed in the video that was earlier shown to this August gathering. It is currently under development. We hope to have the mine in commercial production by 2029, 2030. There are many adjacent blocks around that area where not only the Reko Diq mine is being developed, but also you have operational Sandak copper mine and many other projects available for joint exploration. Not only that, but White and Case of UK was commissioned to harmonize the provincial mining regimes across the country with the best regulations that are available in the world. And that harmonization initiative was rolled out in the last edition of PMIF that we held in 2025. I once again thank you all for your patience and support. Very kind of you.
The next presentation will focus on Pakistan's power sector. I invite the Honorable Minister for Power, Sardar Awais Ahmed Khan Lagari.
We had huge reforms on the distribution sector itself. We restructured the companies, we prepared them to be offered for privatization. Within the government management itself, the past 2 years have seen a reduction of inefficiencies by more than 45% in just 2 years alone. It is 100% ownership from the core of our heart of the privatization process. Pakistan has already announced and brought into place a law that forbids the government to buy any more electricity from generation companies in the future. The competitive markets have been introduced. An independent system market operator is in place. The dispatch on the grid would be done through the independent system market operator. The National Grid Company has been restructured as we speak. It has been split into 2 parts, and it's operating in a much more efficient manner than we've seen any time in the country in the past. We strongly believe that the metering system needs to be properly digitized, made transparent for future planning, and to reduce the losses and the theft that's happening in the distribution companies. So the metering systems offer an opportunity of over $1.7 billion in the next 2 to 3 years. And the transmission lines, which have a very high utilization factor, have an opportunity of over $830 million over the next 4 years. So what's going to be happening on the distribution side and the metering systems? There are 5 distribution companies that are not going to be privatized in the first phase. We are wanting them to make investments into these metering systems. And an average lot size would be $100 to $150 million. On the transmission side, there are 2 clusters. There are 2 clusters of 518 and $312 million. Each cluster the first cluster has 4 transmission lines, and the second cluster has another 3 transmission lines and infrastructure. These need to be completed. The first cluster needs to be completed by 2029 and the next one by the year 2030. So any investor coming in could take any of the 4 transmission lines in the first cluster. So the appetite of investment could be 111 million for one group, 167 for the other. Techno-economic feasibilities are complete. The environmental feasibilities are in progress. We should be having bankable feasibilities for these transmission lines by August, which is next month. So that was the opportunities that are available in the power sector. We're also very seriously looking at battery energy storage systems. We need that for the stability of the grid. With these words, I'd like to thank you.
Now I invite the Honorable Minister for Information Technology and Telecom, Ms. Shahza Fatma Khwaja, for a presentation on Pakistan's IT and telecom sector.
As far as Pakistan is concerned, we're, alhamdulillah, growing at a CAGR of 20% under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister in our IT exports. Whereas this says 4.5 billion, but this has continuously over the last 3 years been growing at 20%, and even this year we've shown over 20% growth. Our freelancer population, which is our overall young people serving almost over 170 countries, have contributed $1.1 billion this year only to our exports. We have over 26,000 IT technology companies operating from Pakistan, 75,000 tech graduates, and we are the 4th largest in the world when it comes to providing outsourced services. We're a population of 240 million people. We are over 150 million young population under the age of 35. Our bulge of people are digital first, and that makes us one of the largest opportunities in technology in the world. Of any other industry in the country, the tech industry enjoys a final tax regime with a 0.25% tax only when it comes to exports. We have special technology zones which are tax-free for the next 10 years till 2035, and those are the hubs of investment opportunity right now. Pakistan's ICT Development Index, we've gone up by 20%. As far as cybersecurity is concerned, from the mid-tier when we came into the government, in just 2 years, Pakistan today is a tier 1 role modeling country in the world. Pakistan has over 200 million subscribers right now. Over 157 million of those are also mobile internet subscribers. We have 97% of our population covered by 3G and 4G. Pakistan conducted world's largest spectrum auction. We introduced 5 new bands in the country for the first time, including 700 megahertz for large, long-term, long-range rural connectivity, and also 3,500 bringing 5G to Pakistan for the first time. So today we have over 11 cities that are already 5G enabled, and very soon this will be continuing over the whole of Pakistan. Prime Minister is personally leading his efforts on cashless economy and paperless government. And I think these, along with the digitization of economy and digital identities, creates one of the largest data pools, which is one of the biggest assets any country can have when it comes to opportunity. Whether it is cybersecurity, intelligence sharing frameworks, whether it is our semiconductor design, whether it is our satellite, I think there is a lot of opportunity of mutual investment. In the breakout session, we will give you a breakdown on each and every one of them. And of course, the data centers when it comes to enablement of the technology sector. So with that, I want to thank all of you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request Turkey's Minister of Trade, His Excellency Professor Dr. Umar Balat, to address the conference.
Saygıdeğer
Distinguished
Yardımcım,
Deputy President,
Ekselansları,
His Excellency
Sayın Başbakan, değerli
Prime Minister,
Başbakan Yardımcısı,
Deputy Prime Minister, esteemed
Bakan arkadaşlarımız,
ministers joining us here today, esteemed representatives of the business world, we are delighted to be hosting you here at the Turkey-Pakistan Business Forum. Pakistan is a brotherly nation for us, and His Excellency Shahbaz Sharif and his entire delegation we are delighted to be hosting you here in Turkey, and we are honored by your presence. Welcome once again. Turkey and Pakistan are two states but one nation. That is our motto. We have extraordinary ties between our two nations. We have excellent political, social relations, economic ties as well, and also our nations harbor deep affection for one another. And that is why this relationship is so special, so unique. And the leaders of our two countries also engage in close cooperation, and they have excellent ties of fraternity and friendship, and that also brings together our two countries even further. Since May of 2023, our business leaders, business people also attach great importance to this cooperation. Our trade volume stands at 1.2, 1.3 billion USD. But when we look at our economic ties, we see a lot of investments, exchange of services, cooperation in the field of energy, and also cooperation between our SMEs. So there are many different areas whereby our business people engage in cooperation. His Excellency Shahbaz Sharif, under his leadership, Pakistan has made great progress in terms of political stability, economic stability. Pakistan is developing rapidly and taking decisive steps to be a more prosperous nation, and this is something that gives us distinct pleasure as brothers and sisters of Pakistan. In the last 23 years in Turkey, under the auspices of our president, under his vision for Turkey's new century, we have also made great progress. Your Excellency, Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif, we are thrilled to be hosting you here in Turkey. We are honored by your presence. We'd like to also thank everyone for joining us.
İş dünyamıza çok teşekkür ediyorum. Hepinize selam, sevgi ve saygılarımı sunuyorum.
May I respectfully invite the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Pakistan, His Excellency Senator Mohammad Ishaq Dar, to address this august gathering.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and very good afternoon. It is indeed a great pleasure to join you today at this auspicious Pakistan-Turkey Business Conference. Our two countries enjoy a relationship that is unique in international affairs and history. Throughout the decades, Pakistan and Turkey have consistently stood by each other, whether on matters of regional peace and security, humanitarian assistance, or support for each other's core national interests. This political trust is among the strongest assets of our two nations. Today, however, we gather for an equal important purpose. Our challenge is to transform this extraordinary political and brotherly relationship into an equally dynamic economic partnership. The international landscape is changing rapidly. The global economy is being reshaped by the geopolitical competition, technological transformation, changing supply chains, energy transitions, and new patterns of trade and investment. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in such an environment, countries that work together, diversify their partnerships, and build resilient economic linkages will be better positioned to prosper in future. Pakistan and Turkey have every reason to be among those countries. Our two nations are strategically located at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, Middle East, and Central Asia. Together, we connect markets, regions, and opportunities that extend far beyond our own borders. This strategic geography must become an economic advantage to both of our peoples. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I firmly believe that diplomacy today is no longer confined to political dialogue alone. Economic diplomacy is the name of the game. Economic diplomacy has become one of the principal instruments through which nations create prosperity for the people in today's world. Our embassies commercial missions, investment promotions agencies, and business organizations must therefore work together more closely than ever before to facilitate trade, encourage investment, and remove barriers that hinder out entrepreneurs. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the Government of Pakistan has embarked upon an ambitious program of economic reforms under the leadership of Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, aimed at improving macroeconomic stability, enhancing investor confidence, and creating an enabling environment and ease of business for the business leaders and the business houses. We particularly welcome Turkish investment across key sectors, including energy, mining and minerals, power infrastructure, information technology, manufacturing, agriculture, logistics, tourism, and defense industries. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, these sectors offer tremendous opportunities, not only for commercial success, but also for technology transfer, industrial modernization, and employment generation. Equally important is collaboration in emerging technologies. Artificial intelligence, digital innovation, fintech, advanced manufacturing, and research partnerships will increasingly determine the competitiveness of our two economies. There is enormous potential for our universities, research institutions, and private sectors to work together in these fields. The world is changing. Alliances are being built and tested, trade agreements being renegotiated, and the rules of global competition are being rewritten. In this era of uncertainty, Pakistan and Turkey must not merely respond to these changes, but we must shape up and work together for excellence. Let our dependency be on one another and no one else. Pakistan and Turkey stand together. We can enter every market and compete within any company and any business house in the world, provided we have the sincerity of purpose and decide to work in unison. The potential is there. Let us seize it together for the benefit of the peoples of Turkey and Pakistan. Let this conference send a clear message that Pakistan and Turkey are ready to shape the future together, inshallah, not only as trusted friends, but as partners in prosperity, innovation, and regional stability. Pakistan and Turkey ek रूह bir kalib. Pakistan-Turkey friendship and brotherhood zindabad.
I have the honor to invite Vice President of the Republic of Turkey, His Excellency Cevdet Yılmaz, to address the conference.
Kardeş Pakistan'ın çok değerli
Very honorable Prime Minister of our brotherly country, Pakistan, His Excellency Shehbaz Sharif, honorable ministers, honorable representatives of the business world, I would like to greet you all with love and respect. Prime Minister, we are extremely happy to host you here in our country, not only you, but your esteemed team as well. We are here to open the doors of a new period of cooperation together. The relations between Turkey and Pakistan are not ordinary relations based on mutual interests. It goes far beyond that. Throughout history, we have exhibited solidarity. We have stood as two brotherly nations standing together in challenging times. Time and again, we have proven this strong relationship. Honorable Prime Minister, Pakistan is not only a leading country in South Asia today, but it's also a country that has a very important constructive role in regional and global issues impacting peace and stability. It's a very responsible actor, especially. Pakistan has made great efforts to reduce the tensions in the Middle East in the last months through its constructive diplomacy, the mediator role between the United States and Iran, and we are greatly appreciating your role. Honorable Prime Minister, because without security, you can't have economic development, both inside the country and at regional level. You should have a secure and safe environment so that development will stand on a robust basis. And you made great contributions to our security in the region, which is also going to support hugely the overall development of the region. So for that, I would like to thank the brotherly country, Pakistan, as I have the Honorable Prime Minister here. Thank you. Thank you so much. Furthermore, we have our mutual economic and bilateral trade relationship under your leadership, and with the support, strong support of Pakistani government, we are carrying out our activities. We also appreciate those. Our determination is one of the founding elements of the impetus we have gained. The world is going through geopolitical tensions with interruptions in supply chains, with increasing energy costs, climate-induced disasters, and economic uncertainties. We are going through such challenging times as the world. Turkey-Pakistan High-Level Strategic Cooperation Council is an important venue for the institutionalization of our bilateral relationships. It's an important mechanism, and this mechanism brings together the institutions of the two countries on a regular basis, trying to reveal the full potential of our cooperation, and it provides a unique platform for collaboration. Ladies and gentlemen, the two countries, under the leadership of our President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and His Excellency Shehbaz Sharif, as the two countries, we have the target of increasing our bilateral trade volume to $5 billion. Unfortunately, we are lagging behind that, and $5 billion is a very humble target. Honorable Prime Minister, we have to reduce it even higher, right? But let's start with 5 billion first, then we should set even higher targets. The more investments we have, the more robust the infrastructure for trade will be. Direct investments of Turkey in Pakistan have exceeded $2 billion. These investments create employment, share technology, experience and know-how, make a contribution to the development of infrastructure, increase the quality standards, and make a strong contribution to the socio-economic development of Pakistan. And Turkish contracting companies have carried out a total of $3.5 billion worth of projects so far. 74 projects have been put into life in Pakistan by Turkish contractors. And in the future, from housing to logistics, from energy to industrial facilities, many infrastructure and superstructure projects will be carried out by our contracting companies. They are ready to be engaged in this. And to further increase our collaboration, we have new opportunities: automobile and automobile side parts industry, agricultural industry, food processing, medical devices, healthcare technologies, renewable energies, green technologies, IT, e-commerce, education, tourism, shipbuilding, defense industry, film and TV series production are among the areas where we can further develop our collaboration. In all these fields, in all these areas, we're not only talking about carrying trade activities, but we can engage in partnerships, and we can also make joint investments and reach out to third countries together. The very distinguished ministers from Pakistan carried out very nice presentations a while ago. As long as we make sure that the private sector actors come together in a more informed manner, as long as we include them in these initiatives and pave the way for these partnerships, we will really make sure that both countries will profit a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most promising initiatives we have is the Karachi Industrial Park, and there will be a specific area area allocated to Turkish investors. This is a very valuable model. I would like to thank you, Honorable Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. I would like to congratulate you for this important initiative, and on behalf of the Turkish investors, I would like to thank you and your government, Prime Minister. This initiative will provide a foreseeable and attractive production and logistics space for our entrepreneurs and bring a new strategic dimension to our economic partnership. Ladies and gentlemen, the friendship between Turkey and Pakistan has always been built on strong emotional bonds. Now, this friendship should also be reflected on trade, technology, production, and investments. Our brotherhood should be reflected to the factories, to logistics corridors, to technology partnerships, to joint ventures, to export platforms, and to employment opportunities. I would like to encourage the business world to see this conference not only for networking opportunities, but for carrying out real partnerships, real agreements, real deals. So with these thoughts, I would like to thank everyone who made a contribution to the preparation of this program. His Excellency, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and his delegation, I would like to convey you my deepest respects for coming to our country, and I would like to extend you all my best regard.
Please put your hands together to welcome the Honorable Prime Minister of Pakistan, His Excellency Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif.
Your Excellency Vice President Jevdet Yilmaz, Honorable Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Ishaq Dar, Honorable Ministers from Turkey, Pakistan, Ambassador of Pakistan in Turkey, Excellencies, parliamentarians, very prominent business personalities, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It is always a great pleasure to be here in Istanbul, a wonderful city and majestic Bosphorus, you could see from here, which connects Asia with Europe, and Turkey, one of Pakistan's staunchest ally around the globe. This fraternal bond between our two countries, which goes back to centuries, in fact, much before Pakistan came into being in 1947. This wonderful, unique relationship dates back to Turkey's War of Independence, in fact, when Muslims of the subcontinent, under the leadership of Ali brothers, they supported Turkey's great sacrifices and efforts for independence. And from that day onwards, without going into details, mothers, sisters, elderly people, they all contributed towards this great cause of Turkey. But little did our forefathers know that a time would come when our brothers and sisters in Turkey would pay back far beyond our own imagination in terms of compassion, friendship, support, be it war, earthquakes, floods. Turkey has been Pakistan's staunchest ally throughout this period. Ladies and gentlemen, I wouldn't want to repeat what has been said here by honorable speakers very ably. Pakistani ministers have brought up wonderful presentations, and so have our dear brother, Commerce Minister, Vice President, have made beautiful speeches here. But the strength of our relationship demands very strongly that these beautiful words from both sides must now be converted into something concrete, into action, and implement these wonderful ideas for the benefit of the two countries, of the two peoples. And I think this is high time when Pakistan, with the great support of my very dear brother, President Tayyip Erdogan, has been able to mediate peace between United States and Iran. It wasn't an easy task, a very uphill task, and without very sincere support from President Tayyip Erdogan, along with other friendly and brotherly countries, this mission would have been well nigh impossible. But Alhamdulillah, here we are today, that ceasefire has taken place and Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding have been signed by President Trump, President Masood Pezeshkian, and myself, representing Pakistan as mediator. And this opportunity must now be availed upon, and we should find tremendous potential in this peace process, not only for our bilateral benefits, but for the entire region. And that is why we are here today, to explore these great opportunities to our advantage. Turkey, Alhamdulillah, by the grace of God, under the dynamic leadership, very able leadership of President Tayyip Erdogan, has made tremendous strides in the field of industry. Your industrial landscape has been completely transformed. Today, your automobile industry is at par with Europe. Your textile, livestock, agriculture. And this has been a kind of a mini miracle in the last 20 years under President Tayyip Erdogan's leadership. And we are here today to learn from your experience, to benefit from your great success stories, and not reinvent the wheel as far as we are concerned in the field of privatization of our discourse, distribution companies of power, how to decrease line losses, transmission lines, theft, and so on and so forth. And I want to assure you that this is exactly true about other areas we have been discussing since morning. Special economic zone in Karachi, at Port Qasim, just 5 kilometers away from the port. And I want to declare here that Pakistan has earmarked 1,000 acres for our brothers and sisters in Turkey, potential investors in this special economic zone in Karachi by the name of President Tayyip Erdogan Special Economic Zone. Similarly, in the field of mines and minerals, there is a great scope. I wouldn't want to go into details because Minister of Petroleum has already explained in details about our vision. We have very, very, rare mineral resources gifted by Allah Almighty by His infinite mercy and blessings. Now is the time to explore these natural resources through our joint cooperation. And I think sky is the limit. Similarly, in the field of IT, information technology, AI, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan has a very young population. We are a country of 240 million people. And out of this, 60% of our population falls in the category of 15 to 30 years. And in Chinese parlance, every challenge has an opportunity. This young population is a challenge, but there is a great opportunity to convert this asset of Pakistan into something unimaginable economic gains and socio-economic progress. And there, IT-led, AI-led initiatives become extremely important. And again, Madam Shada Fatma has given a very informative presentation here about IT sector, what we are doing in Pakistan and what we are looking for in terms of support and help and assistance. And then, of course, is another challenge. Minister Awais Lagari gave his presentation, the power sector. We are there to offload this loss-making sector to potential investors to transform them and start making not only profits, but offer energy at very competitive prices, but also invite investments in solar, windmill, and of course, water reservoir. Minister Awais Lagari is all ready to meet potential investors here in Turkey and make solid agreements to kickstart these great projects. I'm very happy to tell you and to share with you, our brother from Turkey, Minister Energy, is very keen to help Pakistan along with other colleagues sitting here, right from President Tayyip Erdogan to all his cabinet members and Turkish businessmen and businesswomen to support Pakistan. So we hope that in due course of time, we will be able to disinvest in this sector at B2B level. But in case there is some impediment and we're not able to have some wonderful deal, I am very encouraged that then we will go for G2G deal, and that is what brotherhood is all about. That is what Pakistan-Turkey friendship is all about, to support each other. Brothers help each other like Pakistan and Turkey have stood by each other, as I said earlier on. through most difficult times of history. Just last year, when a war was imposed upon Pakistan for no fault of ours, and we had to defend our territory and defend Pakistan's honor and dignity, our armed forces, led by Field Marshal Sayyid Asim Munir, our brave forces, within 4 to 5 days, defeated our enemy like never before. And at that time, who was supporting Pakistan amongst few brotherly countries? Turkey. Turkey stood by Pakistan like a rock. Like Saudi Arabia and other very friendly countries of Pakistan, Turkey was steadfast and stood by Pakistan like a rock. And we know, as a result, Turkey had to face business losses. And they said, never mind, if we are helping or supporting a brother, and in the process there are financial losses, this is no cost. And they can bear this cost no matter what. This is heart-touching. This comes from your inner heart. It cannot be taught. It cannot be spoken. It is through your actions. And that's why when I come here, even if I've met somebody for the first time, both of us feel that we are not strangers. Turkey Pakistani Kardesh. We are friends. We are like a family. And I want to assure you that I would want to work with President Tayyip Erdogan, a very visionary leader. And I have highest of respect for him to further strengthen our relations in time to come under his very able leadership. Before I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, let us resolve today, before we leave this hall to meet again, that these comments, presentations, words, speeches will be converted into action, and converted into action at lightning speed, so that we are able to achieve not only solid results, but tell the world that this friendship, which is based on the pillars of mutual trust, respect, and dignity, is now being transformed into a kind of economic cooperation, economic transformation that the world has not observed thus far. If we are ready to accept this challenge, then I can assure you nothing will impede our way. Not this Bosphorus or mountains or the largest sea in the world, because synergy out of commitment has such a powerful action that nothing stops. On the way, whatever difficulties are there, you cross them over and rise to the zenith of glory through untiring efforts, hard work, sacrifice, blood and sweat. This is what our religion has taught us. This is what we have to adopt today. This is what we are here for. Inshallah, this friendship, this partnership will flourish in time to come through our team efforts. And I want to assure you that as Prime Minister of Pakistan, I will be not only your Chief Executive Officer, but I will roll red carpet for you, and all those impediments and delays will be removed. Thank you very much. Pakistan, Turkish Friendship Zindabad.
Duru.